is going on, Pokemon fans? Welcome back to JD's Nerdverse. We are doing a replay today of Ditto, the transformed Pokemon. Go ahead and watch this battle. We named our rival Pete, just randomly. We named him Pete. I couldn't think of a name. And we named our Ditto Oobleck, because he looks like Oobleck. If you know what Oobleck is, if you don't, go Google it. While I'm here, make sure you like, share, subscribe to this channel, and like this video, and comment whenever you have a question about something. I'll be more than happy to answer it. It helps you algorithm out immensely. So we made our rival choose Bulbasaur, and that is strategic, and I can go over that a little bit later in the video. But we're not going to win this battle. We could have possibly got like one good RNG example, but I didn't want to feel like wasting my time trying to get one. So early on in the game, if you haven't already, I recommend you go check out my prediction video. I released it on Monday. It goes over all the stats of this Pokemon, goes over all of its moves. I air quote all of those moves, because it has two moves it can do by choice, and that's Transform and Struggle. And the Transform, so here's what Transform does. It transforms us into the opposition. We copy its everything, its typing, its stats. The only thing it doesn't copy is HP. We do retain our HP if we have higher HP. If we have lower HP, so be it. But we copy the opposition's everything, type, moves. But the moves, we only get 5 of each. Rather than full-on power points, we only get 5 power points of each move. So that's what we're doing early. It's, transform, knock out the Pokemon. We have enough health left. Cool. We'll go get, we'll go fight multiple battles if we can. But we're not able to do that right now. We don't have enough hit points. And when you transform, you give the opposition a chance to attack you. Okay? So you get one free turn of attack before you get a chance to even do anything because you're transforming. When you run out of power points, you get a move called Struggle. So Struggle is a 50 base power normal move. So in this case, it's Stab with us. So it's about 75 base power normal move. That also has recoil damage. Just that deals back half the damage you deal in recoil. So if I do 10 damage, I get 5 damage dealt back to me. Okay, like right here is not a good example of a good fight. We just lost Pidgey. So I just thought I'd show you some examples of the fight. So now we're going to move on to Bug Forest, where we are at a point where we're just transforming, and we're using Transform to knock out the opposition. So a little bit higher level. We're level 11 right now. So Brock's going to be a challenge. So we got to get to a very high level to beat Brock. Around 21 or 22 is going to be the sweet spot. That's all we're doing right now, is we're grinding. And this is one of the few bigger battles we can get. We can get a lot more experience, and I'm trying to use Struggle right now. And Struggle does work. So when you run out of power points, Struggle, like I said, does decent work. And now we're going to go ahead and face this guy. This guy is a trainer who has 2 Pokemon. And there's one trainer in here we're going to avoid as much as possible because he has 3. And I just don't think I have enough hit points to take him out until a little bit later. And we use Struggle on this guy. Very good. We get the win here. So now we're going to face our rival. So I said earlier that there's a strategy behind picking Bulbasaur. So no matter what rival or Pokemon you pick for your rival, always going to have a Pidgey at the beginning. Okay, whether you pick Charmander, Squirtle, or Bulbasaur, always going to have a Pidgey. So strategically, Pidgey is a flying type, and his last Pokemon is a grass type. So by having that, we have the ability to have a Pokemon that can have a fully super effective move that we can use against him later in the game. Now, early on, does it really matter? Not really. It's not really that big a deal. But strategically, it's going to matter later. And we just got a really, really nice critical hit on Struggle right there. So that's good. We definitely needed that. That could have gone bad. We got seeded. It was replenishing health, and we were on Struggle. So we were bleeding our own health out doing that. So now we're facing this trainer who has 3 Pokemon. And we have to transform into the Weedle first. So I tried this battle multiple times because I was trying to use Struggle strategy. I was trying to deplete all of our power points and use Struggle, but we didn't have enough hit points to get through all of his Pokemon. So what we're going to do now is pretty much depleted all of our power points, and we're using Struggle. So we got through the first Pokemon with losing minimum health because we had a different move that wasn't dealing back damage. And so now we're just using Struggle. Now Kakuna uses Harden, so it's not doing that much. We're doing about 2 damage every time. And so now we just have to have enough health. I think that level up right there was clutch, because I don't think we had enough health to do this, and I think we actually lose. Oh, we actually do lose. Okay, that's fun. So we're going to try this again. And here we go again. I thought that was the winning one. Okay, no big deal. So now we're going to try it again. So this time we tried using struggle strats. We actually are a couple levels higher now too. That helps. Okay, and we didn't level up. Nope. Okay, and we have just enough health to get by. Okay, good. So there's two different strategies on the same person, and it shows how drastic these strategies are. So now we're going to go ahead and face the Million Light Years trainer. We're going to attack Diglett using Diglett. Scratch gets a pretty good amount done. We only have 5 power points, so Scratch will quickly get into struggle range. Now, Sandshrew is using Sand Attack, and we don't have enough health to get through this battle. Awesome. That's great. We blacked out, and we're going to try it again. Right now, we're doing what's called blackout training. And I was hoping to get a couple more levels out of this, but we end up winning on this attempt right here. So, blackout training, if you don't know, it's whenever you fight a trainer who has multiple Pokemon. That was a critical hit. That was awesome. But that's when you fight a trainer who has multiple Pokemon, and you would intentionally try to lose. But these first 1 or 2 Pokemon are going to give you a lot more experience than going and grinding. So that backfired immensely because that was supposed to be multiple attempts with multiple levels. But regardless, we end up getting to Brock, and we're going to just go ahead and go for Struggle. Now, we could have gone for a Transform strategy. Transform doesn't work that great with Brock because you're taking on Geodude who has a normal move, and normal we're normal right now, and so Struggle's very powerful. Look how much damage it's doing. Okay, the only thing we have to worry about here really is Bide, but we have just enough health to get by on 2 HP. Wakanda forever, and we end up beating Brock, but it took a hot minute. I tell you what. Got all the way to level 22, an hour and 21 minutes. It's actually, I think, 10 minutes faster than what the original time was on the original playthrough. So we're going to go ahead and trek through Route 3. I do not think I show everything in Route 3 because there's so much to show on this playthrough. This is one of those playthroughs where it literally helps to showcase strategy. It literally helps to showcase everything. Now, I said this in my prediction video. I'm going to say it here. I do a little bit different than some other players. If you go on YouTube, you can literally find a good bit of other playthroughs that I've done with Ditto. I'm a little bit different. I do have a rule in here that I'm going to quote unquote exploit a little bit later. But that's just because it's something different. I could have done what everyone else did, but I decided to do something a little bit different. So Route 3, I skipped over it. It was a struggle. You can see that. We left Brock's Gym at 1 hour and 21 minutes, and it's 1 hour and 42 minutes. So Route 3 and Mount Moon actually wasn't too bad if you think about it, because I had to go out and heal a lot. And I didn't use any potions, so you gotta think that wasn't too bad. So now we are getting through the super duper nerd who is blocking all those fossils, and we don't really need the fossil honestly, but we really do need it for kind of some joke purposes. And I want you guys to go ahead and write down which fossil you think I'm going to pick. I actually pick the same one every time, but it's good to let people guess, because comments are great for the YouTube algorithm. So you can go through and go ahead and go on to Misty's gym. Now I don't think we're going to face Misty right now, because Misty, we need to be a little bit higher level. We need more hit points. So we're going to go ahead and face Misty's gym. Now Misty's gym, I think in the past I had to get super leveled up for this, but she actually ends up being not a super difficult battle. So that's good for us. So it doesn't end up being a super difficult battle, but it does end up being a tough battle nonetheless, because all the battles with this Pokemon are tough. We have to save multiple times, and just so you all know, last time I played this, I ended up getting a really bad glitch that ruined my run, and I just want to let you know that we come across some new glitches that I want to let you guys know about. So I want you to know about these new glitches that we have. So I'm putting away some things in the computer right now, but these new glitches are fun, but I actually saved so they don't ruin the run. I was really irritated when I did one of them because it didn't save for a couple minutes. I had to backtrack, but it is what it is. So I'm going to face this last trainer in here, and then we're going to move on and face our third rival fight. Very good. This girl has a Goldeen. Goldeen does Peck, and we're going to do Peck 2. Honestly, should do Tail Whip first, so Peck does like a lot more damage. And we're trying to confuse her. Come on, confuse her. Come here. Get confused. Okay. She's now confused. She doesn't know what she's doing. Doesn't know where she's at. And, okay. Is all Goldeen is female, you'd think? If they're all female, how they... I don't know. I'm not going to ask that question. But, okay, we get done with this and move on. to our third rival fight. Now, a third rival fight will come out with a Pidgeotto. It has an Abra, it has a Rattata, and also has a Bulbasaur. And we don't quite have a flying move yet. So it's coming. It'll get there. It'll get there definitely by the end of the game. It'll be there. So we're gonna use Sand Attack so he can't Sand Attack us. That's the goal there. And now we're gonna use Gust, and Gust should be a couple shots, about like 3 or 4 shot. I don't really wish I didn't use all 3 of the. I didn't have to use 3 quick attacks on this Pokemon, but Gust will be a 2-shot, I think. Yep. Oh, a 1-shot. 1-shot's even better. Rattata will be a 2-shot. Very good. We just got badge boosted there, so our attack stat went up because they used Tail Whip. Now our defense went down, which happens, but our attack stat did go up. He just growled, so we get a pretty first try victory on the rival. That's actually pretty nice. We don't usually get a lot of those, so take him as we get him. Now we progress a little bit later. This is about 20 minutes later, and we're going to take on Misty. Taking on Misty is actually pretty simple. Misty comes out with a Staryu. We have 2 moves, Tackle and Water Gun. We're going to use Water Gun. We do get a very nice critical hit. But we're going to go for Water Gun, and she's not going to go through anything other than Tackle and X Defend with us, because we are now Water type, so in her AI, it says that Tackle is the best move to use. Now, we're not doing that much damage right now, so I think Water Gun is does slightly more damage, and now we're using Struggle, and we knock ourselves out, because we did not use the right moves. So we're going to go and try that again. I saved, so we're gonna go face Misty one more time, and I believe this is the one that works. We didn't have a lot of tries with Misty, so I don't remember if it was 2 tries or 3. So we transform, and we're gonna use Water Gun on this Pokemon again. Water Gun, and we get the knockout with 1 Water Gun left. So that's kind of the same thing that happened last time. We're at 69 hit points, very nice, and we're gonna use Tackle. And really just want to use the power points as quickly as possible, because once we start using Struggle, we'll do a hell of a lot more damage. And Starmie doesn't have a lot of damage, like a lot of hit points right now. And so we knock out with 2 hit points. So that was very by the skin of our teeth, if that's really a thing. We barely get by Misty, but we do beat her nonetheless, and we progress on to heading towards the SSN. Now we're going to fight this trainer right here, because we want to. We gotta get through these trainers. This is a trainer that's a mandatory, so we're not doing anywhere near close to minimum battles. We are fighting every Pokemon we get a chance to, every trainer. Some trainers is just strategically are hard to do, and I don't really showcase any of them, but I think there's like 1 or 2 trainers I did have to skip because they just weren't winnable. For example, I think one of the ones, and we end up beating this trainer, but one of the ones we couldn't beat was in Mount Moon, is one of the rockets that has like, it starts with a Zubat or something. And it's just a really, really bad matchup. And it's really difficult. And I tried that battle probably 30 times and couldn't do it. But regardless of that, we are now facing off against Sandy. She has 3 Pidgeys. And all those Pidgeys have Quick Attack and Sand Attack and Gust. So they can all hit a Quick Attack. That's not the worst thing. But if they all start hitting Sand Attack and we can't hit the Pokemon at all, that's troublesome. So we start missing too much. And then they have a free run at us. And yeah, but we go ahead and move on to our rival. So we're at 2 hours and 40 minutes, well, 41 minutes. And we're moving on to our 4th rival fight. We did grind for a good hour. It was like 41 minutes ago when we faced Misty. So we're going to go ahead and obviously we transform into Pidgeotto. We quick attack it, knock it out. And we're going to do Sand Attack on the Raticate. Raticate doesn't really have a lot to do to us. And then we're going to come out with a Kadabra. Now, the Kadabra is very frail physically. So physical attacks do a decent amount to Kadabra. So now we're down to 12 health. And this is where being able to actually deal out some serious damage with Quick Attack and Growl and Gust and stuff is very important right now. And we get knocked out. It's okay. It's so this rival will be a more than 1 attempt. I think it's not that many attempts, though. The rival that's really hard is the next one. Just so you guys are aware, it is the really most brutal one in the game. Actually, they're all pretty brutal except for the last one. And the last one, you'll kind of guess why if you realize why picking Bulbasaur as a starter and picking and the fact that we turn into Pidgeotto when we fight him, or Pidgeot at that battle. You can probably guess why we end up winning that battle. So we have a lot of Gusts left, which is good because now we don't have to deplete our own health. So we beat the 4th rival on the SSN, and we'll progress on to Lieutenant Surge. Now, the Lieutenant Surge actually gets the best of me here. Lieutenant Surge gets the best of me because he starts out with a Pokemon that doesn't have a lot of things that are going for him pretty well. It is very fast, so I'll give it that. But he only has Sonic Boom, Tackle, and Screech. Okay, now Sonic Boom will do 20 damage every time. So the strategy here, and I sped this up a little bit. You can see the speed's a little bit faster now. The Sonic Boom will do 20 damage every time. So you have a couple strategies here. You can use Sonic Boom strictly on Raichu, which Raichu will attack you back. Or you can go for Tackle on everyone else, but then you gotta somehow burn off some Screeches. So I did Screech on the Voltorb. I did Tackle on the Pikachu. And really using Screech with only Sonic Boom left doesn't make any sense because it lowers the defense, is what Screech does. So there's kind of no point in that either. So that wasn't a successful battle. So I think what the strategy here is you should knock out Voltorb as fast as humanly possible, knock out Pikachu as fast as humanly possible, and we have a decent amount of health going into the Raichu. And actually now we don't. We did at one point. And we're very close right now, and we just got to do enough damage to knock him out, and we don't. So this is getting very tedious, and there's not really a lot we can do at this point in the game. We don't have a lot of other trainers. I fought literally probably every trainer up to this point, except for, like I said, maybe one or two that were surprisingly difficult. Okay, we don't have any way to go grind unless we're gonna go grind in the grass or go fight some Diglets in Diglett Tunnel. That's really probably the best way to grind at this point. But we just don't have a lot of capacity right now. So this is like the 4th or 5th time, and I'm doing a lot of attempts with the Lieutenant Surge. We're at 2 hours and 48 minutes, so 2 hours and 50 minutes is where we're at, really. And the strategy here really should be just go for Sonic Boom. Sonic Boom will take 3 shots to knock him out. Okay, we retain as much health as possible. We do a Screech, 2 Screeches, 3 Screeches, so this should be a 1-shot on the Pikachu. That's the whole point of doing the Screech. Oh, nope. But it's at least a 2-shot. It's not taking more than 2 hits. Okay, so now we're going to go for Sonic Boom. Okay, Thundershock doesn't do a lot because we are electric type. Okay, so that is a benefit. We are electric type. The only problem is, like, we just got to do enough damage. So now Tackle. What's Tackle doing? It's not doing a lot. Oh, it did a lot there. Don't get hit, and we get the knockout. Very good. So a little bit of luck. Last couple gym leaders have had a little bit of luck involved. Or what I call the landmark fights have had a lot of luck. And now we're progressing on. Now this trainer right here was a pain in the butt. We started off with Transform. And this just kind of showcases how one trainer can really derail you. So this trainer starts off with an Oddish. She has 4 Pokemon. And this is what, if you ever watch Scott's Thoughts, he calls this the wrapping last. Because the strategy here is the Oddish will paralyze you. Even if you knock the Oddish out, the next Pokemon is a Bellsprout. Bellsprout will use Wrap, and since you're paralyzed, it will always go first, and it'll just spam Wrap until it knocks you out, which is what's going on here. And without the Peculiars, we're going to lose this battle. You're pretty much, dead on that if you predicted that. And we don't even get to the final Pokemon. We get knocked out. So what I did instead is I went and, got rid of all the power points. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just skip ahead. Yeah, I'm just going to make sure, skip ahead a little bit. And we're going to go ahead. I'm just going to make sure, I don't need to show all that stuff, but what I do need to show is how we had to use Struggle. And this is where Struggle strategies actually are really cleverly implemented on my part. This is an example where Struggle is very much implemented. And what we had to do is had to go find wild Pokemon, deplete all of our power points. And I didn't think you needed to see that. But I just want to show Struggle is this is how effective it can be as a standalone strategy. So we will beat this trainer and move on. And speaking of Struggle strats, we're going to go ahead and showcase a little bit of what I call the Struggle Fresh strategy. So we've depleted all of our power points, and you can buy in the game potions, you can buy super potions, but you can also buy a thing called water and fresh water. And fresh water, what it can do for you is it gives you the same amount of health replenishment as a super potion. Super potion gives you 50. This gives you 50 hit points of replenishment. And you can buy them. They're super cheap. You can buy so many because we have so much money, because we don't use any TMs. We don't use any of the things in this game, really. And look how quickly we're knocking things out. None of the battles we've had literally prior to this go this smoothly. Okay? We're knocking Pokemon out very fast, and it's what I call the Struggle Fresh strategy. So we're going to go ahead and do this again, and now we're going to face this trainer right here, and you're going to see how fast this is to knock these Pokemon out. and 1, and 2. So at this point in the game, we have a pretty decent attack because, you know, it's our own physical stats, not the greatest stats, but still decent stats, and we're using struggle on everyone. The only thing you have to worry about is sometimes you come across some trainers with like, you know, 4 or 5 Pokemon. That gets tricky because it's just about how much health you have. And so struggle fresh is making it so the middle part of the game is a lot faster. Now, here's something that I was trying to implement. I didn't use any potions earlier in the game because my thought process was when you use potions, you diminish how many vitamins you can get later in the game. Okay, the more potions you use, the less vitamins you can get. So I thought the last time I played this, I used a lot of potions. So I was able to use like a couple HP ups and maybe like a protein, and then nothing else would work. So I tried not using potions at all so that I could potentially, you know, get a higher attack, get a higher HP, so on and so forth. Well, here's the thing. I was only able to get like 2 HP ups, and again, like another, like 1 protein and maybe 1 carb. It wasn't able to do anything, and I don't know exactly why. Maybe someone can tell me like the coding side of it, why that's the case, but it legitimately would not let me use that many potions or vitamins or anything. Very surprising. It wasn't my expectation. I thought I was able to do that, and I thought the problem was before is I used too many potions, so it wouldn't allow me to use PowerPoint or use those things. Now, I also mentioned in my prediction video, this Pokemon, I am using the most perfect version of Ditto. Perfect IVs across the board, 15s across the board. Okay? Before, last time I played, I just randomized it and then started the game and just went with it. That's what I did. Okay? So, and we barely survived that battle. Wow. So, we were starting off with the best possible Ditto. We're starting out with a strategy to potentially be able to give him some vitamins and make him a better version of Ditto. We were able to get with some, don't get me wrong, but not a lot. And I don't know the science behind it, so if anyone knows the science or the back end like coding side as to why we weren't able to add more power points or more vitamins, I would love to know that, because I avoided those things, and those things actually could speed up the strategy a little bit if you know what you're doing. And that's why, yeah, you can't cut nothing there, Paris. I was not facing the bush and I tried to use cut. That's funny. So we're still using the struggle fresh strategy, and we're pretty much almost done here in Erica's gym. Now, to beat Erica, you can't use struggle. Okay, our Pokemon are just a little bit too powerful for you. And if we're gonna go ahead and try it. I think you're gonna see at least an option, or at least an attempt. But the strategy against Erica is you do need to mimic, you do need to transform into her first Pokemon. A lot of gym leaders you have to transform into. You can't use struggle against a lot of gym leaders. Maybe like Brock was the only one we could do it, and Misty we might have been able to do it if we tried it. But the whole point of the gym leaders is they have too many Pokemon usually, so you can't do it. Victory Bell, there's just too much health here. Plus you can put the Sleeper poisoned. So we have 89 health, and we're gonna we gotta bank on the fact that we have enough hit points to get through the last 2. So 51 is actually not the worst ever. And we're pretty close, which is right on the edge. We probably could have, honestly. 30 hit points left, and half of Vileplume's done. And so we're going to try it one more time. But don't be surprised if we don't win this. It's all about luck. And if we get Poison Powder or put to sleep, the strategy just falls on its face, like right here. See, now we have no way of beating this Pokemon. So you have to rely on perfect RNG. You have to rely on the fact that you'll never take damage back. And like I said, it's just about luck. So now we're going to go ahead and fight these 2 idiots. They're called Tweedledee and Tweedledum. I've called them that since I started this channel. And what we're doing here is, again, struggle fresh strategy. And we knock out the first guy, Tweedledee. We're going to heal up. And then we're going to go ahead and face and then heal up. There we go. That should be enough health to take out this guy. And we're going to go ahead and face Tweedledum. And I'm showing this battle. These don't really need to be shown. Honestly, they don't. But I'd just like to let you guys see how the struggle fresh strategy works. Especially when you start getting into some really, really nice, strong Pokemon. But we did have to go heal because you can't beat Brock with just struggle. He's got rock-type Pokemon. He's going to deal damage back. It's going to offset. And we're probably not going to win that. So what I decided to do is go out and heal and come back in. Then we're going to transform into Onix. Now, Onix is actually a really interesting one to transform into. And the reason why it is he has Rage. So once we initiate Rage, it literally won't have another battle. Now, I'm stupid here. So what I should be doing is going for Screech. I think what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to use up all these things and then use for Screech on the next Pokemon and then build my Rage that way. But Screech lowers the opposition's defense. So that means my Bites would have been more effective if I had gone for Screech first. Okay. Also, my Rock Throw would have probably done more damage. Okay. So now I'm going for Rock Throw. Look how much damage Rock Throw did after I'd done 2 Screeches, whereas I could have done Screeches from the beginning and had a much similar outcome. Okay, so now I'm going to go for Screech on the Rhyhorn. What I should have done was just Screeched on the Onix and then just gone for Rage. Okay, Rock Throw is doing pretty decent, but now we're just down the Rage. And Rage, once you initiate it, it's the rest of the battle. Okay? Once you initiate it, it's the rest of the battle. You can't undo it. You can't pick another move. And now with Rage going, well, we are Rock type, so anything KangaskDan does is going to do a lot of damage. But whatever he does adds to my Rage and makes the Giovanni number 2 battle or Giovanni number 1 a pretty easy battle. It's a first try victory. And so we get the win. And now that we're healing up and we healed and we have like actual power points, we're actually going to transform. I thought, let's go ahead and go face Erica. We're going to transform into Erica. Now, I'm very surprised here. I was hoping, when I was planning this out, I was looking at this, I'm like, I'm hoping that Victory Bell has, like, growth, because that would have been extremely nice to have right now. If you're going to put something to sleep and use a move, it might as well be growth, at least it ups your special. But in this circumstance, I'm not going to do that. So I saved Poison Powder for Tangela. Tangela is actually just Grass type. It's the only mono Grass type in this generation. So Poison Powder is a move I can do against it. I can't use Poison Powder on Victory Bell or Vileplume. They're both Grass Poison. So using it on them would have been a waste of time. So now we have to finish off these last power points. And once these power points are finished up, we will just go for Struggle. But I don't know. Maybe we'll actually use Razor Leaf and knock this thing out. Nope. Very close though. 1, 2, and we just got to finish off the power points. Once we do that, and we do fall asleep, Struggle, we win. We win with so much health. It was a very convincing win. Now, this is the fight that's crazy. 3 hours and 45 minutes is where I'm at with this fight. We transform into Pidgeotto. This requires so much RNG, it is ridiculous. Now, you're going to see one of the first battles and one of the later battles, because this battle was just such a tediousness. I hate the fact Pidgey and Pidgeotto and Pidgeot are like Pidgey and Pidgeotto. Pidgeot's not that bad because Pidgeot doesn't have Sand Attack. But Pidgeotto and Pidgey are like the bane of my existence when it comes to Pokemon runs, because they always have Sand Attack and they always screw things up. And the way this Pokemon continues to be a pain in the butt is, what is the point in Whirlwind? Whirlwind is completely useless. Okay? Completely useless. So, we try this battle numerous times. Okay? I lost count. It had to have been a good 50 times. Okay, so you're seeing like the first and second and maybe the third attempt. Then you're going to see the last attempt. And I want you to notice the time difference. So we started this, like, trying to fight this at like 3 hours and 45 minutes. Okay? So what the goal here is, you got to get through the first couple Pokemon, and you have to somehow burn off all your power points, or you have to get through everything with efficiency. So we got all the way to the last Pokemon, which means it's doable, but you have to have the right, quote, RNG to get this done. So now we're going to try one more time. So we transform, and we don't want a lot of damage dealt back by Pidgeotto. We also don't want a lot of damage dealt back by Gyarados. So we're going for Sand Attack so he can't attack us. And we don't take any damage. So we're already at 9 hit points. This isn't going to happen. Okay? I wanted to run, but I couldn't. So we left, and we're going to go fly, and we're going to go face some other things. And we can't fight there. Nope, can't fight that. I don't know why I left this in. I thought I deleted this. But what we ended up doing is we went and fought a bunch of trainers in Rock Tunnel that I'd skipped. The ones outside of Rock Tunnel as well. And I saved them for good reason, because we came back, we were at 3 hours and 47 minutes, now we're at 4 hours and 10 minutes. So it took about a good 20 minutes of grinding, get a couple levels. So now we have a lot of hit points going into Gyarados. We want to use Sand Attack so Gyarados can't use any of his moves on us. And he's still doing it, regardless. But we're using Gust. And we're going to go ahead and go for Quick Attack. We want to get the knockout. We have a decent amount of health left. Decent amount. We have to go into the final Pokemon with at least a good 50-60 health. because of all the power or all the health that he has. Going to deal back double if we have to use struggle. So we deplete all of our power points. We just have quick attack left, and we hope that we can just use quick attack and knock out Kadabra in one shot. Very good. So now we're using struggle, and it's okay if we don't get hit, but this battle could have been a lot worse, but we end up getting it done in record time. If you watch my original playthrough, that took a hot minute. That took forever. So I just want to show you how this game can be broken again. So in the last one, if you transform into a Ditto, now here's where you can break the game. If you move these moves around, that will break the game. So you're going to see what happens next if you move your moves around like that. So I'm going to show you this one, and I'm going to show you another one. So that will break your game. Luckily, I saved before this. So look what happens. You don't even have access to your moves. You just have access to what says Cool Trainer Male. I don't know why it says that, but it does. So it will completely break your game if you do that. It can't do anything. It won't let you do anything. Luckily, I saved, but that would have broken the run right there too. So yeah. And all I did was run and have to go back in, and it wouldn't let me do it. And here's another way to break the game. So if you fight a Spearow, and okay, I'm just trying to get to the battle. So right now I'm just speeding up the playthrough so I can get to it. But what I'm trying to do is deplete all my power points so that I can use the struggle fresh strategy again. Okay. Which one did it? See here in a second. I think I might have sped through it, but basically what it is if you have a Pidgey or a Spearow or whatever. See, I ran out of power points, so I'll go ahead and pause and tell you what happened there. So what happened there was I transformed into a Spearow, and the Spearow used Mirror Move. That will break the game, just like the one I did. So if you didn't watch the last video, I'll go over and explain that real quick. And if you didn't watch the last video, so right now I'm buying fresh water. So this is part of the struggle fresh strategy. Fresh water is only $200, and if you get a super potion, it's like $700 or $800. So it's a third of the cost, and you get the same amount of health replenishment. So I'm just buying a bunch right here. So in the original playthrough, the one I didn't finish, is we came across a wild Ditto, and I thought it'd just be funny, a little quirk to transform into Ditto. And when you transform into Ditto, all you have is a move transform. So if you can use transform again and just transform into Ditto, and it's an endless process, and you never run out of power points, and that breaks the game. I don't know how it breaks the game, but it breaks the game. Now you can no longer use struggle, because the game thinks you always have a power point left, and I don't know why that is, but that is the case. So I pause it here, and we're gonna go ahead and skip ahead to our Silph rival fight. And I pause it here. Why did I pause it here? Oh well, doesn't matter. But now we're gonna move on to Silph, and 5 hours and 27 minutes is where we're at. We have not done Koga, we have not done anything else. We're just trying to do Silph, and I'm trying to see how good or bad this strategy is to get through our rival. So our rival has fully evolved Pokemon. He has 5 Pokemon at this point. So I tried to see how good or bad struggle was. So that struggle is not going to work. It will never work against that Pokemon or that trainer. So now we're going to go ahead and try and beat Koga. So Koga, he has 4 Pokemon, so it's possible struggle could work if you had enough hit points and you took no damage back. However, the odds of that happening are slim to none. So we're going to try the struggle strategy. We do have a decent amount of hit points, like I said. So we can get through probably, we have to at least have more than half our health. So yeah, 86 hit points is going to cut it with 2 Pokemon left. Okay, yeah, it's just not going to work. And not to mention, if we get attacked back, we're not going to win. So what we decide to do instead is we're going to go ahead and we're going to face Koga, but we're going to actually use Transform. So that means we're going to transform into his first Pokemon, which is a Coughing. Ugh, not a good Pokemon. Not a lot of great things with it. However, it will get us through parts of the game or parts of this battle, and we'll do a decent amount more. So we're going to go for Smokescreen, and that's so that we don't get hit as much, which we shouldn't use it all on Coughing. We should use some of it on a different Pokemon that's going to do more damage. However, we're going to go for Smog. It doesn't do much. Tackle doesn't do much. I think we got a Smokescreen, and that's why we're not doing a lot of damage. So we're able to get through the first Pokemon. We have no tackles left, but we have way more health than we did when we faced this guy with struggle. Alright, so now we're out of all the Smog power points. Awesome. Very fun. Now we're going to go for Smokescreen. And we're going for smoke screen so we can't get hit. And we just missed another sludge. Jeez. Now we're on struggle strategies. We're probably not going to win this now. Probably not going to win this. 69 hit points. Very nice. And we're just missing. He's missing us. X attack. It's just not going well. We should just restart this battle. And we will. And actually we're going to go out and come back. Now we're going to go ahead with a couple levels higher. Going to go ahead and try the rival in Silphco. Rival number 6. So we're going to transform. Very good. And we're going to try this with different strategies. So quick attack is going to knock out Pidgeot in about, well, it looks like 3 turns. 3, maybe 4 turns. Oh, that's 4 turns. Yep. So we use 4 power points just to get rid of the first Pokemon. We're going to go for Sand Attack. And we get Leered. Leered's good. Leer is good, because that means our physical attack is a little bit higher. And we're going to go for, yeah, Hydro Pump. Gyarados shouldn't even have Hydro Pump at this point, so our rival's a big-time cheater. But regardless, we still got to deplete power points. We still got to use Sand Attack. And if he does any more damage to us, we're done. And I was hoping to get the knockout, but we have so many Pokemon we got to get through. And here's the problem. If you'd had any other starter, Gyarados would be the 3rd Pokemon, not the 2nd. Because if you have any other starter, you'd have an Execute come out beforehand. Now, Execute probably wouldn't be the worst thing to fight. But the problem is you want to get... The Gyarados is a strong Pokemon. You want to get that out of the way before you start depleting your own health. Okay, so now we're fighting this battle again. Strategy has not changed. We still want to transform. We still need to knock Pidgeot out as fast as humanly possible. And it just doesn't... Pidgeotto. Yeah, it is Pidgeot. I'm sorry. And it's just not really a great way to do that and deal a lot of damage. What you hope for is that... Okay, so now we're just going to try and go for broke on Gyarados. That doesn't seem like a great strategy. We use so much of our power points to do that. Yep, it's not going to work. So, you can see how these battles can get pretty tedious. So we left that and immediately went and fought Koga. Let's see if we can try this again. We're a couple levels higher than we were last time. What were we at right now? We're at level 66. Jesus. We're super high level at this point. So we just got to go for broke on the first Pokemon. That's what we got to do. Let's get him out of the way. He can use Smoke Screen and really mess up our world. So we just got to get one more attack done. One more attack done. Come on. Get it done. Smack him out. Smack him around. Let's get it. And then Muck comes out. Muck. We're going to go for Sludge. And then we're going to go for Smog. We're not going to poison them. They're all poison type. Okay, Smoke Screen. He's going to go for Disable, not a big deal. But now he's probably not going to hit us with anything other than maybe a little bit of Sludge. But now we're going to use Tackle. Come on, hit him. Get a critical hit, which was clutch. Because we really need to get this guy knocked out. If we're going to move on and progress to beat this guy, we got to get him knocked out with a decent amount of health left. Because we're almost out of power points. We are out of power points. I'm going to correct that. And so now we can actually... Come on, just hit him. Just hit him. Okay, there we go. And we have a lot of HP. Now, what's really great is if a self-destruct happened and we survive, we do. Awesome. We beat Koga, and we're going to progress on. Now we can actually use Surf. So that does open up the possibilities for us a little bit. So now we're going to go ahead and face Blaine. We still haven't beat our rival at Silphco. So Blaine, is it going to be easy? We're going to try for struggle strats first. Now, it's about a quarter of our health, so I don't know if that's the greatest strategy, but we'll see. And very good. Now, here's also the problem with Blaine. Blaine does... the first Pokemon's garbage. Growlithe is horrible. Growlithe just has a Takedown, which does recoil. Ember, which is garbage against other fire Pokemon. What's the other one? Roar and Agility. So, using Growlithe is horrible. It's a pain in the butt. So we're going to transform. He Leers us. That's good. I'm sorry, we do not have Roar. We have a Leer. So we're going to use Leer on him. And we're going to go for Agility. Ups our attacks. Ups our stats. Ups our physical attack. Ups our defense. And ups our speed. So Takedown is a one-shot. And then Ponyta is it a one-shot? It is. The problem is we're doing a lot of recoil. So unless... And any kind of healing is going to screw that up. Now, that's not too bad. 72 getting into Arcanine. There is a path of victory here. But like I said, we run out of power points. And now we got to deplete all of our Leers. And we're just going to get knocked out by Arcanine. And this is the first trainer that I implemented my secret strategy on. So, every other YouTuber out there that's played this has done where you can't use items in battle. which is true. I don't like to use items in battle either. However, I do have a rule where I can use ethers in battle if necessary. Usually the spirit of that rule is like counter my negligence. However, I'm going to exploit that rule. So we're going to go ahead and transform into Ponyta. Ponyta has a much better moveset to deal with the last two Pokemon than Growlithe does. Okay, plus we have a little bit more power points later in the battle. That's helpful. So we had 110 HP, and we're going into the final Pokemon, which is Arcanine. Okay, so now we have Growl, which Growl will help us take down. Oh my lord, we got so close with this. Oh, we did do it. Okay, good. So that was the strategy there. If we are able to replenish our PP in the middle of battle, we can use Transform and transform into something other than the trainer's first Pokemon. The first Pokemon is usually the weakest. Okay? So I'm trying that strategy here with our rival. Okay? So the whole point of me, it's kind of ironic because the whole point of me picking Bulbasaur was so that the first Pokemon I had would be effective against the last Pokemon. And a good bit of the strategy I'm going to be using doesn't take advantage of that. Doesn't do that anymore. So we get leered a couple times. That does boost our attack stat. It does lower our defense, but it does boost it. Hydro Pump one-shots the Growlithe. And Bite, is it a one-shot on the Alakazam? It is. And do we get the win with this? We get so close. Do we get the win? Dragon Rage does not knock out. It does get the knockout. Very good. So I was very happy with that. So when I saw these first couple attempts with using this strategy, I was like, this is awesome. Okay, I'm very ecstatic about this. Now, Sabrina comes out and her whip. And we're going to go ahead and use Transform. This means we have a Kadabra. And we do have Recover with this. So Kadabra has Psychic, Psybeam, Recover, and Disable. Awesome. So what we can do is, if anything gets dealt to us, all we got to do is use a Recover. And we should be able to outlast Sabrina. As long as we use Recover as like our last move before we start using Struggle, we should be pretty good. And we've taken not a lot of damage. We can take a little bit of damage from Mr. Mime with Double Slap. But Psybeam gets the knockout. So we have 2 Pokemon left. Okay. We have Psychic. We have 3 Psychics left. So 1 knockout. Very good. And so now we're going to go ahead and go for Disable. And, I mean, it's not going to do much. We're going to Recover a little bit. Use Psychic. And Psychic again. And I ended up beating her. That's more or less what happened. She kept recovering. I kept using, whatever. I won the battle. I promise. I promise you I won the battle. Okay, editing JD did a goof there. Okay, so now we're using the same strategy. We're gonna go ahead and go for Struggle on the first 2 Pokemon. We don't have enough power points to struggle and beat him completely. So yeah, we realize 39 hit points isn't gonna cut it. So I go out and heal, and then I come right back. Then we're gonna face this battle again. Now we've beaten pretty much everything up to this point. I did this out of order. That's what happened there. Okay. Now it makes sense. I did it a little bit out of order. Struggle knocks out the first Pokemon. We're going to, which isn't really the best strategy if I were to mimic and turn into KangaskDan. But we're going to go ahead and knock out KangaskDan. We're going to go ahead and, okay, we're going for Struggle strats the entire way through this, aren't we? Okay. We don't have enough hit points to do this. I don't know why we're doing this strategy, and I just realized this. So I'm going to go out, and we're going to go back in one more time. So we're going to try this strategy again. So Giovanni number 2 is actually quite difficult because the first Pokemon really isn't that great to transform into. Okay? But we're going to go ahead and use an Ether now, and we're going to transform into Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan doesn't exactly have anything great either, but it is better than what we've been getting. So I'm going to go for Comet Punch. Very good. And one more Comet Punch will knock him out. He went for Rage, so we have Rage, so we're not going to end up having to use Struggle. But we do need to use Tail Whip as much as humanly possible right now, because we need to lower Rhyhorn's defense, so Bite can do that. And do we even get to Rage here? I don't know if we get to Rage. 1 Tail Whip, very good. Bite will be a 2-shot. Comet Punch will finish him off, very good. As long as you can transform into the second Pokemon, it's making a lot of these battles a lot simpler. And from Giovanni number 2 to Giovanni number 3, we'll go ahead and face Giovanni number 3. Now, this is usually the toughest one to fight for this kind of playthrough. However, with our strategy of using struggle and then transforming into a different Pokemon by adding an Ether, this battle becomes a little bit more manageable. Okay, so Rhyhorn gets knocked out. We have 150 hit points left, roughly. Okay, using an Ether, replenish our power points. Okay, he uses the guard spec, which means we're pretty much going to win this. Okay, Sand Attack, which sucks, but we're going to go for Dig. And I think that's what the problem was with this attempt, is we end up getting Sand Attack. So we end up wasting a couple power points, which is not what we wanted. So we're going to go ahead and try still, but we're just missing too much. Slash does pretty decent. But we can't be using Struggle with this Pokemon. It's very weak. We don't want to do that. So we get knocked out. Not a problem. Not the biggest deal in the world. Okay? Now the reason why we're not transforming into Rhyhorn is Rhyhorn starts out with some garbage moves. I think it has Horn Drill, which you can't hit anything unless you outspeed. So that's the first problem with it. And it just doesn't have great moves. They're all normal moves. None of them are rock type, so you can't even do a little bit more damage. And everything he has is pretty much resisted to us. Now Dugtrio, the whole point of Dugtrio, I'm trying struggle strategy now, aren't I? Okay. The whole point of Dugtrio is fast. Very fast, actually. So this attempt's not going to work, so we're going to go ahead and go back to using my Dugtrio. So Dugtrio is very fast. Also, Dugtrio has Dig. Dig is super effective against a lot of the Pokemon we're facing right now. So, we got to get through the Rhyhorn with struggle. Okay, with as much health as possible. Okay, Fury Attack's getting me down there, but we have about 150 HP. Again, we're going to use the same strategy. We're going to transform into Dugtrio. Dugtrio has Dig. Okay, he just used Dig. He hit me with Dig, but now we can pretty much sweep his whole team as long as we don't take any hits back. So go for Dig again. Go for Dig. One shot on the Nidoqueen. Now, Nidoqueen's actually very bulky, so if we can one-shot her, we're probably going to one-shot Nidoking. Very good. Rhydon's last. We do not one-shot, however, we do outspeed, so Fissure is pointless, and we get the, I would say, an easy win over Giovanni. It wasn't one of our harder battles. This strategy is actually working out pretty well, but it comes to a screeching halt right here. We're at 7 hours and 16 minutes, and we face a Spearow. Now, we're facing our rival, and our rival's going to come out with a Pidgeot first. So, are we going to use Pidgeot to win this battle? No, we are not. We're going to use struggle strategies to pick a different Pokemon to transform into. Now, this does require a lot of RNG as well. So, the transforming into the first Pokemon does require RNG, but transforming into the third one requires even more. Here's why. Because we have to take a turn to use Ether. We have to take the turn to use Transform. So there's 2 turns of vulnerability where we can get hit without dealing any damage back. Okay, and at that point we use Struggle, so we've depleted our health already. So like I said, it's a very, very RNG-based strategy. So it's not the most reliable thing. This is why this playthrough's taken over 7 hours. Okay, and this specific battle was very difficult, because there's so many Pokemon, there's so many variables, and so some playthroughs, some fights you can kind of control variables, okay? You can kind of control your variables, you can put Pokemon to sleep, you can do a lot of things that let you win the battle, okay? In this type of playthrough, you don't have that kind of luxury. There's so many variables, so many ways the battle can go south, and that's what you're seeing with 7 hours of playthrough. Now, a lot of it is also just grinding. You have to face almost every trainer in the game to get to this level. Okay? Now, I'm at level 84. I was able to get to level 84. And at some point, I'm just going to be like, you know what? I have 12 rare candies. Or 11. One's in Victory Road. And I'm going to level up and just use all 11 of these rare candies. Which is what I think I end up doing. Because, see what happens when we have maxed out stats, maxed out everything. And we're just not getting enough done here. So Bite gets the knockout here, but I don't think we have enough to finish off the rest of his Pokemon. So we're going to see that. Hydro Pump is a one-shot on the Growlithe. Now the last 2 are not going to be one-shots. Well, Alakazam might have been. And we get the knockout. So we get the last Pokemon, so that's good. So if we can get to the last Pokemon, that's great, but Vine Whip is a one-shot. And so we leave, and we come back. Let's see how long. Yeah, about 16 minutes later, we come back, and I'm pretty sure I used all my power points and even went and grinded to get up to level 100. So now we're going to try this out at level 100. We're going to transform into Pidgeot, see if it does a little bit better. We have a lot more health now than we were earlier, so we're not doing recoil. That's good. Okay, we're going to deplete all of our Whirlwinds, and what we want is, we don't mind if he hits us, but what I want him to do is hit Leer or Tail Whip on us. Once or twice. Going to do the badge boost. It's not working. Now we're going to do the agility for ourselves. Tail Whip hits, very good. I don't hate that. And now Quick Attack will be a 2-shot. And no, it won't. Shoot. Okay, that's fun. Okay, now Gyarados comes out. Wing Attack will be a 3-shot. Leer gives us a little bit more oomph onto our physical damage. How much power points do we have? So now we have to deal with the next 2 Pokemon with 1 power point and then struggle. So we don't have enough health. I don't think we're going to have health to do this, but we're going to knock out Alakazam 1 shot. That's the good news there. But we're not going to knock out Venusaur, not with 24 hit points. We knock him out, but we knock ourselves out in the process. So that doesn't count as a win for us, unfortunately. That would have been great if it did, but it doesn't. So we have to make sure that we have to do this. So we're going to go ahead and do this again. It's there. The possibility is there. If you can get to the final Pokemon, and you you have the opportunity to actually win the battle. That's kind of a rule. I watched Era's 11. He's always said that if you can get to the final Pokemon, there's a chance. So I got to the final Pokemon. What I need to do is use agility first. That way I'm not wasting 3 or 4 power points trying to get rid of the Pidgeot. So I'm using all the Whirlwinds, using all the agilities, even though I can't really use them anymore. Quick Attack is a 1-shot on the first Pokemon. Very good. Rhyhorn. Agility, Stomp. I was actually hoping to get another Tail Whip. Tail Whip actually helps. It does a little more damage. And do I have any more? Wing Attack. Does Wing Attack do more? It doesn't. But I do knock him out. Very good. Now next 2 Pokemon, it would be very helpful if I can knock him out very quickly. Hydro Pump does a decent amount of damage. I think we're going to knock out the Growlithe in 1 hit. Yes. Do we knock out the Alakazam in 1 hit? Yes. No, we don't. Shoot. But we have a lot of hit points going into the Venusaur. And he doesn't have anything effective against us. Razor Leaf is not going to affect us because we're Grass type, or Flying type. And we get the win. Very convincing win. And we move on to the Elite Four. And in the Elite Four, we're going to go and look at our stats first. Stats. Let's go and take a look at them. They're not going to be that impressive. They're not bad for this late in the game. They're actually not. We're level 100, so they should be that high. But 100, 297 hit points. It's not going to go any higher. We can't level up or anything. We don't have to worry about that. Attack is 194. Defense is 191. Speed is 194. And Special is 188. So the good news is if we had to use struggle strategies through the entire Elite Four, we would outspeed most things in here. The problem is we don't have enough health to do that. So the only one we can use any kind of struggle strategy on would be Lorelei, because she's the first Pokemon. After that, we can't deplete our power points, so we're stuck with playing through that. And obviously our only move is Transform. I don't need to show that, so go ahead and let you guys see that real quick. But this is not the greatest stats, and this is going to be frustrating. So Lorelei is actually the toughest member of the Elite Four. She starts out with such a garbage Pokemon, and you're going to see a bunch of them. She starts out with a Dugong, which Dugong, if it had its full learn set, wouldn't be too bad. It's just it doesn't have its full learn set. It doesn't have Access Ice Beam. It doesn't have its best moves. Okay, so the whole goal here is you want to knock out Dugong as fast as possible. The problem is none of her moves are great against itself. You can't Aurora Beam sucks, and not to mention this stupid thing has Rest. So it's going to replenish its own health all the time. And while you're trying to knock it out, it's going to use Super Potion, it's going to use Rest, and it's going to restart it. So that's the problem you're going to have. And so I already restarted. That's how fast it was. I already restarted, and there's going to be a handful of attempts here. Now, the handful of attempts we're going to have, you're going to see the same strategy implemented until I decide to go a different route, and it changes the complete complexion. Now, I've already gone over this about not transforming into the first Pokemon and transforming into the second or third or maybe even the fourth Pokemon. So you've already seen that. Now, we are facing Dugong. It's obviously a bad one to transform into. Okay? The fact that it has Rest, the fact that the only move it has deals damage to itself. So we're going to try this again. And we're going to keep doing this over and over and over again until we decide to stop being stubborn and just go for a different one. So now we're actually going for the strategy. We're going for struggle. I must have skipped ahead on some of these battles. Okay, obviously Cloister's not a great one to transform into. All he has is Clamp and Aurora Beam. Not very good. This one is a great one to transform into. So go ahead and replenish our health, or our power points. Transform into Slowbro. And Slowbro is going to give us so much things to do here. We're going to go for Growl. Since Slowbro is kind of dumb anyway, it's not going to do a lot of stuff to us. So Water Gun does nothing. So Amnesia, we're going to do it for Amnesia. Now, we're at 7 hours and 47 minutes. I want you to take note of when we started this. So I'm going to go ahead and just click back to when we started this. We're at 7 hours and 29 minutes. So we spent 47 or 20, almost 20 minutes just trying to get through Lorelei. Okay? Almost 20 minutes. So right now we're just depleting all the power points for Growl. Depleting all the power. We're using Amnesia. Amnesia is actually going to help us because it's going to up our special. And no matter what it does, if it does Growl, it still ups our special. So Water Gun is a special move. Now we just done Amnesia like 6 times. Or 5 times. We've done Withdrawal like 5 times. And it's growled us like 5 times. So now our special is through the goddamn roof. I would love to know what our special is in this. I don't have the, what's it called, game hook that tells you all that stuff. But because we did that, we're actually able to beat Lorelei pretty handily. Because we did 5 withdrawals, which does the badge boost every time. 5 amnesias, which up our special every time. And he growled us like at least 4 or 5 times. So that really put it through the roof. Now, Bruno's actually very easy with this Pokemon. Okay? Kind of a similar strategy we used to Giovanni number 1. Is he's going to send out an Onix. And we don't talk about Bruno very much, but this battle's worth talking about. Onix comes out. We run a badge boost as much as we can. So we're going to use Harden. Harden will up our defense, but also up our other stats, our physical attack, our speed, our special, all that stuff will go up by using Harden. And we use all the Hardens. And I'm trying to use a little bit of moves before I start using Rage. Now, in hindsight, I should have gone for Rage. But it is what it is. And so we're just trying to use our power points up as much as we can prior to using Rage. Because Rage is kind of a tediously boring move, but it is effective with this Pokemon. We're not taking a lot of damage back, which is good. And we're just going to use up all of it, and then we're just going to go for Rage. Okay, now every time he hits us, Rage is going to go a little bit higher. Okay, and eventually it's going to build up so much that we can actually sweep the rest of his team. Our defense is very high right now compared to his. And we're, it's a normal move, so it's not doing a lot of damage, but I'm level 100 with a lot more HP than Onix has. So that's a very nice benefit for me right now. So, like I said, a little bit of strategy in there. But now we have only lost like 30 hit points. And so now we're going to start doing some serious damage. And if they hit us back, it's only going to add to the Rage. Okay, counter was actually strategically very smart on the computer's part there. It really was. High jump kick. Knockout, very good. And we don't have to worry about losing power points. Now we just got to get through this Onix. As long as it doesn't do a lot of damage to us. We've already badge boosted and our defense is very high. So he ain't going to do a lot of damage to us. But we're going to do significant damage to him. We're going to whittle him down. Okay, now he's going for Rage. Now he's stuck with Rage. So this is just adding to our Rage and how much damage we'll do. And then the last Pokemon is Machamp. Now Machamp could potentially use like Submission, or you could use Counter and do a decent amount of damage to us. But with our Rage being built up as much as it is, we're still, man, that's still not that much. It's only like a quarter, but we get the knockout regardless. Nonetheless, very nicely, we beat Bruno, and we move on to Agatha. Now, Agatha actually starts out with a great Pokemon to win this battle with. Okay? It's just all about RNG with Agatha. Even when you have a great Pokemon going into her, with her, you still have to worry about RNG. So she's going to come out with a Gengar. Gengar is a fantastic Pokemon to transform into because we can go for Hypnosis and we can start setting up Nightshade. Okay? Now what we should have done, this is just me being honest, we should have just gone for Nightshade. Here's why. Eventually we could run out of Hypnosis. We don't have unlimited Hypnosises. Okay? And the last Pokemon she has is a Gengar. Struggle will not hit Gengar. Struggle is a normal move. So the computer reads that as, it reads as a normal move. So it will not physically hit Gengar, the last Pokemon she has. So now, I'm stuck with the Pokemon. Now I should have kept Confuse Ray, because the Confuse Ray could actually help in knocking out. I'm actually paralyzed. That's fun. And he's healing. Oh, darn it. Okay. So now I'm out of power points. I shouldn't be going for this move. I don't know what I'm doing right now. Should just restarted the battle. Okay, so the strategy should be to use Nightshade on Gengar without putting him to sleep. Okay, that's the strategy. Because if you use Nightshade on Gengar, you can put to sleep the last Gengar and use Dream Eater. Okay, so we should be just going for Night. I guess we're not going to do that. Okay, cool. Okay, we'll put him to sleep. Dream Eater's going to be a one-shot. Very good. We replenish our health. Awesome. And we need to use Nightshade. I don't know why we're doing this. That after, I guess, hindsight is 2020. What we should have been doing is Nightshade. Nightshade will do 100 damage, so it'll knock out the first two Pokemon pretty easily. Okay? Now, the question is, like, we're running out of Hypnosis. If you don't have Hypnosis, Dream Eater's worthless. Okay? That's why I'm saying, like, we should... See, now I'm doing the right strategy. Nightshade is the proper move to be doing right now, because Nightshade does 100 damage and it's going to hit and doesn't rely on another move to use it. So we end up getting the win, but the strategy there is to use Nightshade early and use Dream Eater late. One, to replenish your health. Okay? So that should have been the strategy from the get-go. Now, this battle actually isn't that super difficult either, because the first Pokemon he starts out with is a very solid Pokemon. Okay? He starts out with a Gyarados. Gyarados comes fully loaded with a bunch of moves that are just going to help us out immensely. So we start off the battle. We're going to go for a Hyper Beam, and we've already lost 2 Hyper Beams. This battle isn't going very well. We will get through the first one, but we're not going to get through the rest of them without the other moves working properly. Hydro Pump knocks it out. Maybe we will. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we will get through this without too much of an issue. And I don't think we are. Nope. He replenishes health, and we're going to have to restart this battle. And I know a losing battle when I see one, so we're going to restart this battle again. Now, the strategy there is sound. What we should be doing is you should be doing Leer on the first Gyarados, because Gyarados can do Leer to us, boosting our stats. Okay, now we're going to go for Hyper Beam, knock out the Gyarados, very good. We're going to go for Dragonair. Hydro Pump would be a 2-shot. Down to 44 health, this is not promising. Okay, we're going to go for Hyper Beam on the Dragonair, very good. Aerodactyl is water type, and we miss. We're going to lose this battle. And unless we get a clutch, come through with Confusion, very good. But now Dragonite's not going to be a one-shot. He's going to hit us with something, and it's going to knock us out, so we're going to go ahead and load. It's okay. I think we have the actual one we're going to win right here. So the strategy is sound. Now what we should be doing is doing Leer on Gyarados. Okay? Do Leer. Oh, no. Nope. It's going to go for Broke. Okay, cool. Okay. Hyper Beam on the Dragonair. Very good. Hyper Beam on the Dragonair. Very good. Full health going into Aerodactyl. He ain't going to do that much to us. Hydro Pump is a one-shot. And now we have 153 hit points going into the Dragonite. He does use Barrier, but we get the knockout regardless. Very good. So strategy with Gyarados is pretty good. So now we're at just 8 hours. Just 8 hours playing through with this stupid bubblegum looking Pokemon. And we have one more battle. And unless I'm wrong here, it is a first try victory. So we are going to go ahead and mimic into Pidgeot, or transform into Pidgeot. Okay? Transform the Pidgeot, and we're going to go for Sky Attack. Okay, he's going to transform. That could have broken the game, but I think if you actually... Now that I've played through, I think if Transform is Mirror moved and you still win the battle, it doesn't break the game. But I Transformed, Mirror moved, and then ran away from the battle. I think that's what broke the game. Okay, Psybeam doesn't do too much. Sky Attack's a one-shot, very good. Rhydon comes out. We want to use Wing Attack. What we want from Rhydon is a whole bunch of those Tail Whips. Fury Attack's not what I want. I want a Tail Whip. I want another Tail Whip or a Leer. Tail Whip or Leer will give us a little bit more of a badge boost. And so we're going to try to use Mirror Move On him, I want a Leer or a Tail Whip. Give me a Leer or Tail Whip. Now, we could just go for this one move the entire battle if we wanted to. Okay, Tail Whip, there we go. So now, Wing Attack. Doesn't do a lot. We get Tail Whipped again, that's great. We get Leered, that's great. So our attack is through the roof. We just gotta get through this Pokemon. And if we can just hit with Sky Attack, we will beat every one of his Pokemon. Our attack is through the roof. Everything's through the roof right now. One shot on the Arcanine. One shot on the Venusaur. As long as we hit, game over. First try victory on the champion with this Pokemon. It looked a little touch and go there with the Rhyhorn, but Rhyhorn capitulated. He gave us all the Leers and Tail Whips that we needed. We don't need to have good defense if we're fast enough when we hit first. So now I'm tapping. I mean, it's not really a big deal. It's going to save us a couple seconds if I tap through fast or slow. Okay, and we get through, and we beat our rival. We beat the game at 8 hours, 1 minute, and 53 seconds. Whew, this was a very, very tough playthrough. I will tell you that much. Very difficult, very tough. I hope you enjoyed it. I did throw some cuss words out while playing this. Don't get me wrong, because you're just looking for that RNG the whole time. However, it got done. It got done, and I'm so glad it got done, and I'm so glad we did it in a decently timed fashion. I think I've watched others where they got it done in a little more time. Like I said, I didn't want to have the exact same playthrough as everyone else, so I did a little bit of a variation of strategy. And I think it played out about as well as I thought it would. I thought using a different strategy would be helpful. In some battles it was, in some battles it was not. However, like I said, I want to do something a little bit different than everyone else out there. I know some people are going to be mad like you cheated. I don't care. This is a playthrough that I really didn't have to circle back to and do. And other than maybe like a Shuckle run in Generation 2, or maybe this Pokemon in Generation 2. With this Pokemon in Generation 2 wouldn't be as bad because you don't deal back as much recoil damage. But Shuckle would be another one that's going to be tough in Generation 2, which I'm not even going to face for a long time, so I'm not too worried about that. So let me just think in the comment section down below. This was very tedious. I know it was a very long video. I know it's not, it's not the most ideal thing is to watch a long video of tediousness like this. But if you got it made it all the way through and you got to this part, you are amazing, and you need to comment and let me know that you made it all the way through, because I put in a lot of effort for this one, and I really would like your feedback. I appreciate it so much. You guys are amazing if you got it this far, if you made it this far. My name is JD. The next video I'll be doing is I'm back on Generation 2 doing Cyndaquil, Q-Lava, and Typhlosion. Alright, so let me just think in the comment section down below. You guys have to go in. The prediction video will be out Monday for Cyndaquil, and the playthrough will be a week from today. Have a good one. I'll see you guys next time.